Yo, what's going on, Taka fam? So I played Fire Kings over the weekend, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. One, it's a new structure deck and it's pretty good, and I've been testing it over months before it came out. Two, I didn't really feel like Brandon had a really good place in the meta right now. It was too much of a high roll deck for me, and I know it got top 4 at YCS Bologna over the weekend, but honestly, that guy probably had like a lot of good matchups, a lot of good rolls, and was able to play. It was unfortunate he lost in top 4, and the way he didn't draw very good game 1, and then game 2, I think he misplayed. Not really sure. But I'll show you everything you need to know about Fire Kings and some text. And I did make some changes, but I did play this over the weekend at my locals and made top 4. And it's pretty good. So I'll show you what I played. Alright, so first off, I played 3 Sacred Fire King Garunics. So anyone who's been watching my channel like for a long time, like since I first started my channel, I was actually one of the original Fire King players. Just that build was just scuffed. It was just not good. And I was young and I wasn't very good with the deck or the game. But this guy is reminiscent of the old one, except he's 10 times better. So this helps you whenever you get shifted, you still could summon something, because unlike the old Garunics, the fire monsters have to be destroyed by battle, card effects, and go to the graveyard. He doesn't care. If they get destroyed anywhere, he can summon himself, and at least he gives you a blocker. And on summon, he gets to destroy a beast, wing beast, or beast warrior from your hand, your field, or your deck. And just being able to destroy in your deck is crazy. So that's why I think having 3 is important. And he's your boss, so I don't mind drawing this a lot. Then we have Kieran. This is such a silly card. This is basically our version of Shivara that the Unchained deck plays. So during either player's main phase, you just destroy a fire monster on your field or your hand, non-target, summon itself. Pretty cool, so it helps you dodge imperm, veilers, and stuff like that. Other effect, if it's destroyed, it can summon a Fire King from your hand or your grave, non-target. And on the resolution, you can pop a card on the field. So this card is pretty sticky for your opponent to deal with, because you can use it to disrupt them, to blow up stuff, and then non-target blow up another card. And there's a really cool interaction with this card that I'll show you guys a little bit later. Then we have 3 Ponics. This is important. You do want to get this card, and it's one of your main, like, just 1 card starters. It's kind of free. On normal special, get you a Fire King spell trap, which is really insane. Other effect, just like Garunics, if any of your fire monsters is destroyed, he doesn't care where they go. Summon itself from the hand. So both of the Garunics and Ponics can actually be activated in the damage step, which helped me a lot in a lot of my matchups over the weekend. And the last effect, if it was destroyed by card effect the previous turn, it has a mandatory effect to add itself back to the hand. So if you do pop it somehow throughout the turn, but then you bring it back from the grave and link it off, you bypass that. So if you actually wanted to keep it in the grave, it can be relevant. But if you don't do that, it adds itself back. Then for my Beast Warriors, I'm actually playing 4. And I'll explain why. So I'm playing Arvada, Rangbali, Yaksha, and Barong. So everybody pretty much knows Yaksha and the rest of them, but I can explain why I play them. This is actually really good because this is your monster negate. This is your spell and trap negate. So your 2 negates don't have the other effect that these 2 have, which if a Fire King, face of Fire Kings destroy summon themselves from hand, that would be actually insane if they had that effect as well. But the fact that they can negate and then destroy a fire monster on field or hand is actually really good. And I'll explain why I play like just 1, because they don't really do anything by themselves, to be honest. Yes, you could just normal summon this, cool, it's still a monster negate. I don't feel like that's enough, to be honest. And there's a cool interaction with this card. But the graveyard effect, if it's destroyed, you just bring one back from the grave, negate its effects, and then it dies during the end phase. This doesn't have a grave effect. Yoctor is actually really good, in my opinion, as a little tech, because if he's destroyed, he gets to also destroy one from your field or your hand, any fire monster. So that's what's pretty cool. It helps you to keep playing. And Barong, this one searches during the next standby if it's destroyed. So I actually like these two for utility, and I'll show why a little bit later. But the interaction I was referring to has to do with Kieran and Arvada. So say you have this on the field, say you negate something, a monster effect, you ask your opponent for a response. They say no, you could chain Kieran. If Kieran resolves, you destroy the Arvada, and then during resolution, Arvada will still resolve to destroy a fire monster in your field or your hand, so you just destroy the Kieran. And then during the next chain, this will trigger and this will trigger. So this will reborn something and this will reborn something. So they pretty much reborn each other. So you can use this to target this, to special, and then you use Kieran, resolve it, summon this back without its effects negated, and then pop a card. So you just replace the bodies. With these two, you get 2 bodies. So it's a cool interaction that you can find yourself doing a lot. So kind of keep that in mind. Then for the expensive engine, unfortunately, guys, 3 Diabell Star. I feel like this is needed in a deck, period. It's either that or you can play Nadir Servant. The problem with Nadir Servant is it's a 3 of, and you play, technically, you could play up to 7 copies of this card when you play like the Wanted and stuff like that. So, and the fact that you can use this to send stuff off just to summon. So it's a -1 on summon, but which is fine. This leads to a draw. It can lead to putting to stuff in the back row, anything like that. And sometimes if you want to destroy your cards, you can send the Fire King Island with this card to summon itself, and it'll have a mandatory effect to nuke your board. So if your opponent's not letting you destroy stuff, you can manually destroy it because of her. And then just some Sinful spoils targets. I'm playing the 1 Ash. I was playing the Flamebird's Dragon, but I cut it for the time being because it can clunk with some of the hand traps. But you can still play it if you want. But my one target I do play is Kurikara. So the reason why I play Kurikara is because I don't want to auto-lose to a Noir game 1. Just having the out in my deck to make it easy is good. We have other outs, but this is like an easy one. And for some hand traps, for the monster hand traps, I played just Ash and Nibiru. Nibiru was actually pretty good because round 1, I ended up winning that, but game 1, I won the roll. I didn't open no playable cards really, and I was so confused, but because of Nib, I ended up winning that game. So that's pretty good. And then last monster, my personal tech, Fencing Fire Ferret. Everybody knows this old school card, but this card is actually funny because if it's destroyed and sent to the grave, doesn't care how, you get to target a monster on the field, blow it up on your opponent's side of the field, and then you burn them for 500. So it's good in time, actually, which is kind of funny. But the fact that you could destroy this from the deck with Garunix to pop another card and then burn them for 5. So if you already have access to Kieran, you can use this as a board clear. So it's a board breaker. And it's not once per turn. So if you do have multiples, you could do the same thing. Then the spells. 3 Sanctuary. This card's a Pokemon card. It has a lot of text and they're all relevant. For starters, on activation, it places the island from the deck to the field zone, which bypasses Ash. Secondary effect, you could, if your island or anything in your field zone would be destroyed, you could destroy a fire you control or in your hand. So that's relevant if you don't want to nuke your board. And the third and most important effect, for the most part, is if your opponent special summons, during resolution, you could activate this to exceed summon using only Fire King monsters. And I've discovered a couple of texts, and I could talk about that a little bit once I get to the extra deck. Then 2 Island. So the name of the game, destroy cards, and this has 2 awesome effects, and I feel like I almost want to play 3 because I've been struggling to find like multiple ways to continuously pop stuff, And I think that's the same problem Fire Kings had back in the day. It's consistently destroying cards and not necessarily always having to wait for your opponent to do it. But if you do get drolled, you do have access to this using the other effect. If you control no monster, summon a wing beast from your hand. So if you hard open Garunix, which that's why I like playing 3, you can just summon it from your hand, and then Garunix could just destroy Barong from the deck, so it gives you that surge. So even if you get drolled, once you get to this and you open a fire wing beast, you can still use the effect. Then some of the other 2 targets, quick plays. So I like Circle a lot because it pretty much allows you to tag out, dodge stuff, and you could like get random OTKs against your opponent, especially if you're trying to play under nib. You can summon 4 times and go to battle, and this could allow you to summon more, so you could do OTKs with it. And Skyburn's actually pretty good too. It's like mass removal. So you could target Fire King cards, like Fire King monsters you control, and target the same amount of cards your opponent controls as the Fire Kings that you targeted. You blow those cards up. And it has another effect that a lot of people don't use, but if a Fire King card or cards would be destroyed by a card effect, you could banish this from the grave instead. Unfortunately, you can't use both of those effects in the same turn. And then the Wanted package. So 3 poster, 1 original, and 1 subversion. So I actually, in my new build, I put subversion back into the side deck, only when you specifically go in second. But this was my 40th slot, so I just decided to play it. But it's better off in the side deck. And then the last 3 cards in the deck is 3 Imperm. So in total, I have 9 hand traps in the main. I was playing 12. I was playing Veiler, but I felt like a lot of decks were dodging Veiler a lot easier. So, and this doesn't play in the talent, so that's why I like it too. And for the extra, I'm gonna run through it a little bit faster, and I'll explain a few things if I need to. For the linked ones, I think these 3 are standard. Karibo, you go into this one a lot. Anima, and then Almirage. Almirage is actually effective because all your guys are like fire. So if you need to, I don't know, get Garunix effect off, if you link any of like your hand traps or your level 1s into this, use Island, you could blow this up and add Garunix. This will still allow Garunix to be special summoned. And Animas for pretty much if somebody messes up. And it can come up too. So for my tech, I was playing 1 Fairjet. The reason why is because it takes any beast warrior, wing beast, and it's not too bad because sometimes you'll end your boards with like a Garunix and like a Ponix, and you want to have something to do with them. You could just link them off and then make Fairjet. And if this goes to the grave, you just draw a card, put a card back, so it can fix your hand, and it can special summon anything from your hand. So it's pretty good. Masquerena. So unfortunately, I don't have an SP, and I didn't even think to borrow one, but this could be cut if you don't play SP or Appaloosa, which you can play Appaloosa if you play like the Flamberge Dragon, so the more combo heavy version. Sunlight Wolf. This card's actually super insane in this deck, and I wish I played the second one. But I can show you a quick little combo at the end with the Sunlight Wolf. The 2 Charmers, they come up a lot. This to steal Dia Bellstars to get your Dia Bellstar engine running. This is still just fire monsters to link climb. The problem with these 2 is my deck building. I completely forgot to play like another card to like help climb into this with these, because a lot of people use Selena access code. I wasn't really playing another bridge to like link climb up, and that was on me, but you can, and you definitely should. Heat Soul, this comes up a lot whenever you do link climb and stuff with Sunlight Wolf, and just ending on having ways to draw hand traps, and it is more effective if you play more hand traps. I played 1 Shurag because I played the 1 Fairjet, and this is the same thing. It takes Beast Warrior, Wing Beast, and it non-target banish a card, and if it goes to the grave, and you have any number of like wing beasts, or beast warriors banished, you get to search based off the amount that you have. 2, Grunix Eternity. I actually make 2 of these a lot. Sometimes I'll go turn 1 with these, and like summon this, turn 1, blow it up with like Island, just to get 2 reborns, which that plays in a nib a lot more, so you don't necessarily have to do that. Ding, shout out to my friend. He told me we should play it, and it kind of makes sense. Just non-target send something. It's really good. And I actually lost the game because I forgot. I played this card and I forgot the other effect where it could just protect any of my cards. So because I didn't do that, I got bodied by the horse cards for no reason. Which, side note, the horse cards are actually kind of hard matchup for these cards. Because if you don't get rid of the sarcophagus, you just kind of get bodied for free. Typhon. This is a Pokemon card. This won me a game. And Zeus. Didn't summon it at all, but these 2 go together pretty good. And then side deck. Obviously, personal preference. But if you go into a regional, you can do something similar to this. I'm playing Droll because it's Droll. And it's pretty good against a lot of stuff. Sometimes it actually can be good against this deck. But if you play around it, you'll be fine, because most times we mainly just want to get 1 search, but those some hands where you kind of need 2 to 3 searches, so you can kind of sort of play around it. Lancia, this solves the shifter problem, and it also works against Rescue Ace, which actually comes up a decent amount as well. Sorry for the camera moving. It also comes up with Kieran. So if you do hard open like multiples of these, you can still use them the best way because of Kieran, because you could set this and Kieran could still just blow it up anyway. Playing 2 Crow just for those graveyard decks like tier. 1 Ghost Bow. I didn't really know what else to put, and I didn't want to put a 3rd Crow, but I thought Ghost Bow would have been good. It helps out in like the lab matchup. But that matchup's not super bad. It's actually like back and forth, but just being able to stop cards from getting banished, I kind of like it to go with the Lancias to kind of protect your Garunix, because a lot of people would side in Crow and always hit your Garunix. But I could also show you a way to play around it with the Sunlight Wolf. One of the MVPs in my side deck, which is actually pretty funny. Shared Ride. It's basically Maxi, because you could use this in a mirror match, because a lot of our end boards, like end of our turns, we have access to like the Garunix, and then we have like this setup in the graveyard. We typically have these 2 set up so that we could add back and a search. So what you can do, because this is mandatory, the moment they go to standby, activate the effect, you activate Shared Ride, you get a free card automatically. And they have a choice. Either they give you another card off of the Barong, or they just kind of not use the search effect, which you're fine with either way, which helps you draw in the side deck cards. And it's actually good against a lot of matchups too. Decks that do get hurt by Droll, this helps you against. Because if you don't draw Droll, but you draw this when you go first, you basically get to draw into those like hand traps and other cards, and more ways to blow up your cards. And then last 3 cards, I played a Duster. Going forward, I'm probably going to play like some Lightning Storms and stuff too. Last 2 cards were Skill Drain. And these cards are actually really good in this deck, because most of our stuff triggers in the hand or grave, and you don't really care if your stuff on the field resolves, but you could force them to resolve if you really cared about it. With like Circle, Skyburn, Karen, and stuff like that. So you can play around this card a lot, and it hurts a lot of decks. Alright, so let's go to the interaction section of the deck. So one of the things I was talking about with the Sunlight Wolf, what you can do. You have like Ponyx, access to Ponyx, Brong, and stuff like that. So typically, you're gonna have to use this during the whole standby phase, along with the Ponyx. So the Ponyx will add itself back, and the Brong will add this to your hand. And more than likely in your combo, you have had this in the grave, so this will also be here. So if you're trying to interrupt your opponent, you can go activate Kieran effect, special. The Garunix will trigger Channeling 1 if you want, and then Channeling 2 Sunlight Wolf. So you just could add back the Brong, and then you could add this back and summon it to the field. Then what you could do is activate Garunix on a summon. You could either pretty much destroy one of these two. These are the two targets I like to destroy a lot of the time. So if you want to get another body, another search, you just destroy the Arvada so that this could get reborn. Or you could just destroy the Karen from the deck. The Karen could destroy a card on the field or your hand. You could destroy something like this. And like you reborn, and then you could destroy. So if you want to get another search with Brong, you could do that. So these are some of the main two targets. But you're going into time where you need another way to pop something. You have the Fire Ferret. You could also just destroy the Fire Ferret from the deck, which will then allow you to pop another card and then burn them for 5. And the same thing goes with like what I talked about with the Arvada and these two. Because if you have that set up with the Garunix in the grave, and then Ponyx back in your hand, and the Brong went on ahead and search this, and you do have this on the field, you have a free negate pretty much. Because you can negate with this, like I said, special this from the hand, and then now you start to get a bunch of like interactive plays. Because now you can go Channeling 1, Channeling 2, you could target anything. If you have another card engraved, you could target it to special. This will also add one back. So you could just add this back if you want. The Garunix gets summoned. The Kieran, like I said, will summon this. And then you can non-target pop a card. And then you still have the Arvada target in your hand. So you still have the fire monster, and then the Garunix get to destroy another card. So if you want to destroy this, like the Karen will resolve destroying a card, and then you can use the Garunix to destroy the Fire Ferret from the deck to then destroy another card. So that's pretty cool interaction. And there's some changes that I did decide to make with this deck. Like I said, I'll put the other Snake Eye card in a side deck. But some of the cards that you could play, some of the things that I was thinking about testing and like text for the deck. So I actually almost want to side another Skyburn. Because it's a searchable Lightning Storm technically, I guess, or even a Raigeki, or you could just outright play Lightning Storm. Another funny thing that you could do, this is one of the cards I actually was going to take out the Shirag for. The reason why is because a lot of people forgot that this card, when you can Exceed, it allows you to Exceed into any fire Exceeds. So that brings up another cool interaction. If you do, so this guy right here, the Giga Cannon, it just takes 2 level 4s, and whenever a dinosaur monster destroys one of your opponent's monsters by battle and sends it to the grave, you get to detach, destroy a card, detach, pop them, well, burn them for 1,000. Make sure detach, inflict 1,000 to your opponent, and then he gains 1,000, so it puts him at 32. The other effect, if he's destroyed, you get to go destroy, target the field, destroy it, and then burn him for 1,000. And most of the times the way that it works is like if you have like leftover Beast Warriors and stuff on the field, you could just use Sanctuary whenever they special to just overlay into this. And then when you do that, you also have access to Kieran. You get to use Kieran to blow this up to then summon this, blow up a card, and burn them for 1,000. So if you were off on an OTK play, this could just put you over the edge to OTK. So I actually like this a lot, and I think I might tech this. And if you're playing like Tenki and stuff, you could do the same thing, but then you could summon Tiger King or something during your opponent's turn. So that's kind of cool. And then wanted to play this engine. So I would probably play 3 trap tracks. So this helps you in the mirror a little bit, and this gives you a more consistent way to pop cards. Yes, it's a trap, so it can be kind of slow. So I was thinking about probably playing 3, but those who don't know, you target a monster you control, destroy it, and then set any normal trap from your deck. That normal trap can be activated, and then it locks you for the rest of the turn into only being able to use 1 more trap card. So these are the 2 targets I'm thinking about maining. Just 1 and 1. Torrential, because like I said, the name of the game, being able to always consistently destroy cards. So against matchups where their cards get destroyed and they don't benefit, you go for the Torrential. But like decks like the Mirror Match, you go for the Terrors, because you could just target their 2 cards, send 1, and set the other. And if you set a Fire King, it does not trigger the other Fire Kings that could summon themselves from hand, because if they're destroyed while face up, then they summon themselves. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know that was very long-winded, but this is just an update to Fire Kings, officially to the channel 10 years later. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Any tech ideas or stuff that you guys came up with. So leave me a like, comment, subscribe, and share. Peace.